following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out.
Believe it.
Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Good evening. This is
Avi Bernard.
very happy I am to be back in the United States and back on the network, even for so short a visit as this one. A lot of people asked us to do it again, so it's gratifying to get the chance now. Personally, I've never met anybody who didn't like
KBLA Talk 1580.
but it seems I do have a reputation for the uncanny. I'm an overpaid producer with pleasant reasons to rejoice, and I do. But surely my right to having more than enough is canceled if I don't use that more to help those who have less. We must each day earn what we own. A healthy man owes to the sick all that he can do for them. An educated man owes to the ignorant all that he can do for them. A free man owes to the world's slaves all that he can do for them. If we can't die in behalf of progress, we can live for it. If we waste that gift, we won't have anywhere to hide from the indignation of history.
This is the Friday edition of Areva Martin in Real Time with Avi Bernard.
We did it. We did it, Joe.
The dawn is hours before. We knew it. Somehow we do it.
The cry for racial justice, some 400 years in the making, moves us. The dream of justice for all will be deferred no longer.
Your ears are not deceiving you. I know you heard it's the Friday edition, but it is Thursday. We are doing the Friday edition on Thursday this week. It's Avi Bernard, usually with you on Fridays, here with you today. And let's get you caught up. Rep. Jim Jordan said today that he has spoken about his bid to be the next speaker with Donald Trump and that he would not support removing Rep. Matt Gaetz from the Republican caucus, even amid anger by some lawmakers after he led Kevin McCarthy's removal. Asked whether one member should be able to make a motion to remove a speaker, the rule that was used to get McCarthy out of the leadership role in a historic vote this week, Jordan said he would go along with whatever the Republican caucus wanted. Amaza Gibson alleges a record deal promised to her by singer Jason Derulo came with strings and struggles she'd never experienced before, including aggressive behavior, unwanted invitations, implications that she'd have to have sex with him to advance, and fear for her safety. In a lawsuit filed today in Los Angeles County Superior Court, Gibson alleges that 34-year-old Derulo turned cold after she rejected his sexual advances and repeated invitations to dine and drink alcohol, and that he eventually dropped her deal altogether. She accuses Derulo of quid pro quo sexual harassment. Last month shattered the record for the hottest September on record by such a wide margin that climate scientists say it was almost beyond belief. The September milestone, reported in new data released late Wednesday by the European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service, added to an alarming stretch of record-breaking global temperatures during June, July, and August of this year. The planet had its hottest summer on record by a large margin. A man illegally brought a handgun into the Wisconsin Capitol demanding to see Governor Tony Evers and returned at night with an assault rifle after posting bail. The man, who was shirtless and had a holstered handgun, approached the governor's office on the first floor of the Capitol around 2 p.m. Wednesday. The man was demanding to see the governor, who was not in the building at the time. He was taken into custody for openly carrying a firearm in the Capitol, which is against the law. A federal court has picked Alabama's new congressional map, which will likely result in an additional black and Democratic member of the delegation. The new map came after the same panel of federal judges twice found that lines drawn by the GOP-dominated legislature likely violated the Voting Rights Act by weakening the power of black voters. The new lines will be used for at least the 2024 elections, though Alabama Republicans have vowed to fight them for future cycles. Cornel West is leaving the Green Party and will continue his bid for the White House as an independent candidate. West, an outspoken progressive and longtime university scholar, has ruffled feathers among Democrats who view him as a potential spoiler for President Joe Biden's re-election chances. West has batted back the idea he might pull support from Biden in multiple interviews, saying the Biden campaign is free to court the voters flocking to him. And the Baltimore Police Department published surveillance footage showing a group of people walking in a grassy area of Morgan State University's campus. From the video, it's difficult to determine whether they are armed. However, the authorities are now certain that there was more than one shooter in the mass shooting that took place on Morgan State's campus this week. The shooting seems to be the result of an argument between two groups of people. The presumed target of the shooting was not hit. Rather, the 4 men and 1 woman who were injured were caught in the crossfire. And I do want to welcome Areva Martin to the program now. There is some breaking news in the Mark Ridley Thomas case. Let's get to Areva. Areva, what's going on?
Hello, Avi, and you are right. You are doing the Friday edition of Areva Martin in Real Time on Thursday, and I will be holding it down tomorrow on Friday for you. And tomorrow, in the second hour of Areva Martin in Real Time, we're going to be talking about this breaking news in the federal bribery case of former LA City Council member Mark Ridley Thomas. But today there was some unexpected news in that case. The U.S. Attorney's Office, that has been incredibly aggressive in their prosecution of Mark Ridley Thomas, agreed that he should be granted bail pending appeal. This was not something that any of us saw coming. We know that just on Monday, Mark Ridley Thomas filed a motion where he asked the court to allow him to remain out on bail while he pursued his appeal. We being the legal community, expected that the U.S. Attorney's Office would file an opposition to that motion. They had 2 weeks in which to do so. We thought there would then perhaps be an oral argument before the court, or the court would issue an order on its own. But in a surprise turn of events today, the U.S. Attorney's Office agreed that they would enter into a stipulation and ask the judge to allow Mark Ridley Thomas to remain out on bail pending his appeal. This is an incredibly positive sign for the former LA City Council member, because federal prosecutors routinely oppose a defendant's request for bail pending appeal, especially after a conviction at trial. More often than not, those prosecutors want the convicted defendant to appeal their sentence from prison. So at least for now, Mark Ridley Thomas can sigh a breath of relief, because he will be home for the holidays. He'll be home for at least 2 years, which is the time period that it typically takes for a federal appeal to make its way through the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal.
Wow, that's 2 years is a long time, and that is significant. Thank you so much for that update, Areva. And tomorrow you're going to be having a complete conversation about this with KBLA Justice Correspondent Dion Raymond and Attorney Mansfield Collins, correct?
Correct. In the second hour, 5 o'clock p.m. PST, we're going to break down what was in Mark Ridley Thomas's motion, where he asked the court to allow him to stay out on bail pending his appeal. We're going to talk about what prompted the prosecutors, the very aggressive prosecutors, to enter into the stipulation, and what's next in this case. What's going to happen over the next 2 years, and what does this say, the stipulation say, about the chances of Mark Ridley Thomas prevailing on his appeal? There's been some articles in the mainstream media that suggested that the chances of Mark Ridley Thomas remaining out on bail pending his appeal were a long shot. Were not likely. That wasn't a likely outcome. Obviously, they were wrong, those that predicted that he would have to serve time and appeal while in jail. Those folks, like on many occasions, the mainstream media has gotten so much wrong about this case. We're going to talk about that as well. So make sure all the listeners tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Show starts at 4, but this in-depth conversation with the KBLA Justice Correspondent Dion Raymond and federal criminal defense attorney Mansfield Collins. We'll be breaking all of this down for you tomorrow right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, thanks so much for that, Areva, and that is some good news. It seems like every break in this case has gone against former Supervisor Ridley Thomas, and so finally it's good to get one in his column. And thank you for that update, and we can't wait to listen to the show tomorrow.
Thank you, Avi. Have a great show.
All right, appreciate you. Take care, Areva. We will hear from you tomorrow, and I can't wait to listen to that show. It's going to be a great one and get us all caught up in that situation there. And when we come forward here this hour, we're going to be getting into the topics we mentioned. Also, a couple others. Danny Griffin, educator, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker, will be with us for the entire show. In the second hour, Ray Richardson is going to join us. We're going to do a preview of the Dodgers playoff series that starts this weekend. That's why I'm wearing my Dodgers shirt, because it is a big week. And this year, I am not as hopeful as other years, even though they're the second seed. They haven't been as dominant of a team. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that in the second hour. But first, when we come forward, we're going to talk about the mess in the U.S. House of Representatives. We're going to talk about Jason Derulo, the sexual harassment claim against him, and we'll talk about a lot more right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's the real deal in real time. You're listening to Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
A sense of peace, a place to kick back and put down roots. A lasting legacy. However you define home, at City National, we're committed to helping you get there with our City National Ladder Up Home Loan Program. Find the full benefits at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National Bank, here for our clients and communities. Ladder Up program is available only in select areas. Terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS ID 536994.
Hi, I'm MC Light. You know me as the rapper. But guess what? I am the CEO of Sunny Girl Incorporated. We call it SGI. And SGI undoubtedly has a Cadillac, an Escalade to be exact. It's luxury at its finest. It's black, it's sleek, it's clean, and I can show up to any red carpet or any event and feel like I'm flossy. I love it. Cadillac.
Visit Cadillac.com for more.
Hey. Did you know Vistaprint prints everything a small business needs? Like if a barbershop needs signage, we print outdoor signs, posters, and banners. Or if a ballet school needs merch,
1, 2,
we print tote bags, t-shirts, hoodies, hats. Or if a coffee shop needs a total refresh,
latte for Mike?
Vistaprint designs logos and prints it on menus, mugs, paper bags, anything. Because with Vistaprint, the printabilities are endless. Print it all with 25% off for new customers with code NEW25 at Vistaprint.com.
She's so smooth. So I'm interrupting my own shower to remind you to treat your skin like the queen she is with Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash, packed with Olay's highest level of vitamin B3 complex. It's so moisturizing that it will give you visibly smoother, head-turning skin in just 14 days. People wondering, how'd she get so smooth? Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash. Also, try Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
The way we spend our time defines who we are. You're listening to Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's Avi Bernard in today for Areva Martin. It is Areva Martin in real time, and we have so much to talk about. Per usual, we're joined by friend of the show, Danny Griffin, educator, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker. Danny, appreciate you joining us today.
Man, thank you for having me back, Avi.
Always, always. So let's talk about this situation in the United States House of Representatives. It is sticky, to say the least. Jim Jordan, who is very far right, he's very extreme. There are allegations against him that when he was at Ohio State, that he, at the very least, turned a blind eye to sexual harassment against some of the players he was coaching. And when he was a wrestling coach there, he is someone who, his name is Jim, J-I-M, Jordan, sometimes people call him Jim GYM Jordan because of those allegations against him as a wrestling coach at Ohio State. But he's also just a horrible person in general. He's a Trump supporter. He doesn't care about his constituents, and he is in a super far right district, which is why he's always safely reelected. And he is now running to be the Speaker of the House, in addition to Steve Scalise, who is another far right Republican, and at this point the moderate Republican is almost mythical. There are very few, if any, of them left. And so Jim Jordan said today that he has spoken to Donald Trump about the speakership, and he does not want to remove Matt Gaetz, who is I guess just someone who wants to see the whole system burn down. He didn't get enough concessions. He and his even more right-wing faction of the Republican House of Representatives didn't get enough concessions when they were negotiating the continuing resolution to prevent the government from shutting down. So they didn't vote for it, and they ended up getting even less because Kevin McCarthy had to get votes from the Democrats to avoid the shutdown. And that to them was a cardinal sin. Working with Democrats to them is worse than anything, even if it's good for the country. So Matt Gaetz elected to request a vote for removal of Kevin McCarthy, which did actually pass. Kevin McCarthy was removed. Now Republicans are trying to find another person to fill that seat, even though their caucus is very deeply divided, and there doesn't seem to be any one of them who can have a better handle on the situation than Kevin McCarthy did, which is a low bar. So my question is, Danny, do you think that Jim Jordan is the best choice for Republicans, or is there a best choice, or are they all just crazy?
Well, he's an interesting choice because he's not hiding his fondness and his obvious communication with former President Trump, which many people have shied away from, so to speak, because it might hurt their political career and personal lifestyle as well. So a lot of people see that as a problem, and obviously we have a lot going on. This is part of their brand. It's organized chaos. So I just think that him being the speaker is going to be kind of like a puppet, so to speak.
A puppet for Donald Trump.
Oh, for sure.
And it's interesting that he did say that. Yeah, I've been talking to Donald Trump, and he's clearly trying to make it seem like he is Trump's choice. And him and Steve Scalise are going to both be kissing up to Trump in a very extreme way in these next coming days and potentially weeks as they try to get that Speaker of the House role locked up for themselves. And I think him talking about Donald Trump and saying, oh, yeah, I've been speaking with Donald Trump, and this is what we're going to do. This is our plan. Yeah, we're good. We're buds. That's my buddy. We were talking, and, yeah, he totally agrees that we should do this and that. I think that's the reason why he's bringing up Trump. And it is strange, though, because usually I think you're right in that someone in his position might want to, in the normal times, normal political times, which are long gone, might want to show some air of independence, show that they have their own two legs to stand on, that they're not just going to do whatever someone outside of the process wants. But the Republican Party is so incredibly beholden to Donald Trump that they openly now say, this is I'm doing this because Trump wants us to do it.
Well, I think the crazy thing, Avi, is about the brand, which both parties are part of our country, and this is our democracy, right? So impeach the president, oust the speaker, and participate in the government shutdown. That's part of your brand. That's not a good look.
Right.
That's not a good look. I don't care what party you are. You could be the zebra party. But I'm just saying that's not good, obviously, and it's not good for our country. And, we need to change some things. And obviously he's positioning himself for if Donald Trump wins the next year's election. Because if he does and he's speaker, he just became an Avenger, right?
well, yeah, but then there's also the strong possibility that they lose that that they lose the House next year in the election. Even if Trump were to somehow win, which I don't think he will, then the Republicans could still lose the House. But to your point, though, if they do that and Jim Jordan is ingratiated to him or anyone else, then they might be vying for a seat in his cabinet and more political capital and more flowers from the base. And that's all that they care about now is their crazy-ass base.
And a lot of our politicians are, rising in age. And sidebar, we need an age limit.
An age limit?
Age requirement. Maybe. It seems like, right?
Well, I don't know about an age limit. I think of term limits.
It was something
to prevent them from being in office until they're
because it's obviously personal with the 8 congressmen, getting McCarthy out. I mean, this has become a personal vendetta. Now you have cliques within parties, and we see that, and that's not good at all, right? We're supposed to be for the American people totally, and now you have infighting within certain parties, and that's not good for governance in terms of our country at all, right?
It's not because that's what almost led to the shutdown, and that will probably lead to a shutdown in about 42, 43 days because that's when they're going to have to. That's the deadline for them to pass another resolution for the full year, and when you have even the Republican caucus divided in the way that they are with these 8 to 20-ish crazy members, then they are going to be able to prevent just about any legislation from passing at all, and even government shutdown. And this is also really important for aid to Ukraine because that is one thing that Kevin McCarthy kept out of the continuing resolution, and now something needs to get passed in that area very soon. And it's just Kevin McCarthy is such a clown, and he deserved what happened to him. The Democrats should not have saved him. And there's been this long-running joke calling the Republicans the face-eating leopards party, and people who get involved with them saying, well, I never thought the face-eating leopards party would eat my face, because you get close to them and you think that you're in there with them and you're good, but no, there's no such thing as loyalty in that party. But let's talk about this situation with the singer Jason Derulo, who has been accused of quid pro quo sexual harassment. So there's a singer named Imeza Gibson. She alleges that he promised her a record deal, and she didn't know that it would come with strings. And she says that those strings included expectations that she would have sex with Jason Derulo, and even fear for her safety. And so she filed a lawsuit today, and she says that after she rejected his advances, then he just pretty much ghosted her. He stopped calling her, and the deal was off. So obviously these are allegations. Derulo's team declined to comment. These are obviously very serious allegations, but man, do you think this is still a thing? There's a whole thing as an actor. There's a thing in Hollywood called the casting couch, which is Harvey Weinstein, which is what he did. He basically would try to get women to give him sexual favors in addition to roles in movies and things like that. And so it seems like this is Jason Derulo kind of keeping that awful tradition alive. And this is just allegations, of course. I have to say that. But if these are true, then this is exactly what the Me Too movement was about, and what everyone who fought in the Me Too movement and continues to fight was fighting against. So what are your thoughts about this situation, Danny?
Yeah, well, it's just not in the entertainment industry. You have this going in corporate America. You have this going on in education, the mechanic on the corner, the landlord. This has been going on for centuries, right? This favor for a favor. Mm-hmm. And it all obviously it's just not women that are the victims either. You have some women in power that do this to men too. You just don't get that covered as much.
Probably far less,
but it still goes on. And the thing is, it's like, my take on it is, you have to be professional, right? And you have to do your job, and you can't participate in this, right? Because sometimes, people takes two to tango. Sometimes it's one person that's, victimizing the victim. You have different scenarios, but it's always takes two people. And a lot of people.
I need you to clarify that. What do you mean it always takes two people?
Well,
in a situation like this where there's alleged sexual harassment.
Well, sometimes you have this is going on systematically, like it was in the entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it's just not that person and this person. Sometimes it's known knowledge that this is what you got to do to go in there, and there's multiple people involved. This is a system. This is just not an acquired behavior from one individual and another individual. This is systematically going on. We have it in politics. We have it in religion. Like I said, across the board. In this case, obviously, allegedly it's two people, but I'm just saying in a bigger spectrum of things, you have it's a system where you go in there and there's multiple people with anything. It could be anything. It's debauchery.
I mean, we don't know what the system is though in this case because
not this case, but
because I don't know what the music industry is like, I should say, and so I don't know if this is common practice in the music industry, but whether it is or not, it is. I think we have to be careful about saying it takes two to tango because sometimes this woman potentially was just interested in her career. And
no, I don't mean like so per se like that. I'm just saying, when you hear rumors or you hear stuff or how a system is, some people will not apply for a certain job or go in a certain. Oh, I heard about that landlord. I heard about that mechanic. I heard this. Some people just don't even engage in that. In this case, I don't know. She could have just been an unassuming victim. I'm not saying she was participating in. I'm just saying sometimes we put ourselves in situations where you hear stuff. Sometimes you have to vet. You have to vet people. We need to do a better job of vetting people, the opportunities that are bestowed upon us. And now, if this guy, if he victimized her, then he needs to pay the consequence legally, right? But I'm just saying a lot of times we look for opportunities, men and women, and sometimes we need to, close that door and go somewhere else and vet people a little better sometimes.
I don't know, man. I mean, this is if you're a singer and you have an offer from a famous singer, you're going to be like, that's an offer I'm going to need to go ahead and accept.
We've heard that before, though, right?
You don't have people beating down your door trying to give you a record deal.
But remember the R. Kelly situation, that was similar. That's what I was saying.
Well, he's preying on children.
No, but I'm just saying he had a reputation, and people continue to take offers.
Hold that thought. Yep. Hold that thought, Danny. We're going to continue this conversation on the other side after this news, traffic, and sports update right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Areva time is the right time. More of Areva Martin in real time when we come forward.
I'm Doug Davis with the latest from the Black Information Network. A group of Chicago, Illinois residents is suing in an effort to stop the city from housing migrants in public buildings. The lawsuit was filed last week against the city, Mayor Brandon Johnson, who's black, and Chicago Public Schools. The group filed the lawsuit after hearing that thousands of migrants would continue to be sent to Chicago. A former Raleigh, North Carolina police detective accused of framing more than a dozen black men on false drug charges has been sentenced to just 38 days in jail. The sentence comes after Omar Abdullah pleaded guilty on Wednesday to felony obstruction of justice. Drake is set to drop his 8th studio album tonight. For All the Dogs will hit streaming platforms at midnight Eastern. The rapper released a song titled 8 a.m. in Charlotte, presumed to be on the album last night, with a music video to go along with it. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
A Sigler in Pomona involving a fuel spill continues at the off-ramp close on the 71 North at Rio Rancho Road. Also be advised that the 60 west of the 71 North connector is also closed as crews are still on the scene cleaning up the area. In Sherman Oaks, watch for a stall blocking the left lane of the 101 South before Van Nuys Boulevard, and heavy traffic is starting from the 405. Your drive on the 101 South from Sherman Oaks 405 into downtown LA's 110 is at 1 hour and 8 minutes. Over in Yorba Linda, watch for a crash in the left lane of the fast track of the 91 West before Gibson Canyon Road, causing stop traffic from Green River Road.
As the leaves change, leave the hiring to Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Sad situation at Morgan State University. One of our prominent HBCUs, Morgan State, located in Baltimore, canceled its homecoming football game scheduled for Saturday against Stony Brook College. Morgan State President David Wilson made the announcement in the aftermath of the shooting Tuesday night on campus. 5 people were injured, including 4 Morgan State students. All 5 victims are expected to recover. The incident happened at a homecoming event. Baltimore police said the injured students were not the intended targets. A dispute between 2 groups at the event led to the gunfire. Beyond the football game, Morgan State might have a much bigger problem. On Wednesday, students were seen leaving the campus carrying duffel bags and suitcases as if they weren't coming back. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. There's no time like the present. Let's get back to more of Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
Somewhere this shit done got crazy. I just been driving Miss Daisy with my hands on the steering wheel and my eyes on the pavement. I give a about where they went. I owe my lawyer a payment. Ain't talking about no arraignment. Now I wonder what the rain went. I just been all in my mind. Homies tell me I'm stressing. I've been counting what's on my bucket list and not all my blessings. I think it's time for a lesson. Hold up, pay attention. I can't end up like my mama, papa, antidepressants. My therapist think I'm crazy. What she probably does. All the stress I'm under, I wonder why I don't do drugs. Raised killers and thugs. I've been in doubt so long, don't know who I was, but I know who I am. Yes, I know who I is. Please pardon my grandma Daisy vibing with this. I just been vibing.
It's Areva Martin in real time. Avi Bernard in for Areva Martin today. We're doing the Friday edition on a Thursday. Always happy to have you here, whether you're listening on 1580 AM on your dial here in Los Angeles or the free KBLA app, or watching us live on YouTube. You can watch us live on YouTube. Just search for Areva Martin in real time on YouTube, or go to the KBLA 1580 website and click on the YouTube icon at the top right, and you will be directed to whatever show is live at that moment, which right now is us. Joined by Danny Griffin, educator, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker, talking about the situation with singer Jason Derulo, who has been accused of quid pro quo sexual harassment, in which he allegedly offered a contract to a singer, a record deal to a singer, and expected sex in return. And when she denied those advances, he pulled the deal. So it's obviously early within these allegations. We don't know a lot yet, and we'll continue to learn more. But just kind of wrapping up this situation, we have to take these allegations seriously, and it's never okay to expect something from somebody in that way. And you're using their dreams against them to get something that you want. And if you're Jason Derulo, can't you get just about any woman anyway? I mean, you don't have to do this. If you did it, it's alleged so far. But what's the deal? You can go anywhere. You're young, you're black, you're rich, 3 wonderful things, and you're famous. And so I don't understand what the allure here is, if this is true, to do something like this.
Because some women still say no. They don't care about none of that. Some people still don't say no. No is no. You don't have a certain entitlement because you look a certain way, you have a certain thing,
right. Exactly.
Or you're in a certain position. That person has to be into you, and it has to be acceptable. Like, you have to say yes. It can't be a no. If it's no, it's no, regardless of who you are, what you got. But a lot of guys and women are entitled. And it's just not, in situations like this, just period in life.
And it feels like maybe this is some kind of power thing. I think some people get off on the power dynamic of being able to hold something like this over somebody and extract something from them. That's different than maybe going to a bar and getting someone who's willingly going to go home with you. I don't know. But
some people don't like charity.
Well, we'll see what happens with this situation, and they're terrible allegations against the singer Jason Derulo. So let's talk about this. Some people are so in love with their guns. A 62-year-old man was officiating a wedding in Nebraska, and he fired a gun to try to get everyone's attention. I've DJ'd a lot of weddings, and when you want to get someone's attention, you turn the mic on and you tap on the mic. All right? You tap on the mic and you say, "Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen." And you do it a few times if necessary. Or and maybe someone can beatbox on the mic. That'll get everybody's attention, make them stop, pay attention. But he shot a gun at a wedding because he wanted to get everyone's attention, and he ended up injuring his grandson, his 12-year-old grandson, by shooting this gun. And he turned himself in. He's been charged with child abuse and neglectfully firing a firearm. And he fired blanks, but they're blanks he created himself, and obviously they still injured the child. So it's just the love people have for their guns is so crazy to me. And this is obviously not as serious of a situation as a mass shooting, in particular because nobody was killed. But to me it's an example of the gun culture that we have, and I don't get why people love their guns so much. You're not hunting. You just want to shoot it off at a wedding. I feel like you're not just trying to get someone's attention if you're doing that. you're trying to show, oh, I got this gun. This is, look what I can do. I'm a fire this at a wedding. This is cool. It's why do people love their guns so much, Danny?
Well, first of all, we're in an open carry state, right?
In Nebraska, probably.
No, I don't know. Texas. I think it was in Texas.
This is in Nebraska.
Oh, it was in Nebraska. Okay. So, I mean, you have to understand that that's part of culture for a lot of individuals. And, everybody has a right to bear arms, right? But
they have a right to, yeah. But why do people love to do it in so many different situations and in dangerous ways like this? This dude shot his grandson.
Well, I mean, that's just, like I said, it's part of culture. You have some parts of the country where little kids that are 5 and 6 years old are holding guns for family Christmas photos, and out there it's different with hunting, right? I can see if it's a deer in the background. We have people waking up Christmas Day taking gun photos with pajamas on.
But they got matching pajamas and matching assault rifles.
Yeah, so it's
the
culture.
Whole family, even the kids.
Yeah, so it creates a certain level of comfortability, and there's no accountability. Some people just feel calm. I mean, it's like a TV show or something from the 60s or something.
But here's the thing, though. People love to talk about how black people are inherently violent. We're more violent. Look at this video of these black people fighting. They're so violent. And as you said, Danny, they're over here taking Christmas photos in front of the Christmas tree with their assault rifles.
Most people that commit crimes anyway, you live amongst a certain amount of people. It's not like a certain culture or a certain ethnicity is going to drive an hour away to come commit a crime in your area. Usually crime happens around the same people with the community that you live within. We just get, systemically, we just get the bad end of that stick, so to speak.
Well, they paint a picture of us. Yeah, and that's why I've said many times that black on black crime is a myth. There's no such thing as black on black crime. It's you are violent against the people you live around. So there's black people are going to be more. There's going to be more black people killing black people. There's going to be more white people killing white people, and all across the board in neighborhoods that are still largely segregated across this country, people kill who they live around, and that's how it goes. That's why black on black crime is not any more of a thing than white on white crime, but the media still portrays that picture. But it's just I wanted to bring this up because it's so crazy that you're going to end up shooting your grandson because you wanted to shoot your gun off at a wedding. Just crazy stuff, man. Let's talk about Cornel West. He is leaving the Green Party, and he will continue his bid for the White House as an independent candidate. This is very significant. I'm someone who has been against Cornel West running as a Green Party candidate since he started the campaign. I'm against him running at all. I'm against anyone running who is going to take away votes from President Joe Biden. Now, do I think that it's bad for people to have the ability to run? Of course not. But you have to recognize, and Cornel West is a progressive. You have to recognize the totality of the situation. And when we're up against someone like Donald Trump, who is going to be the Republican nominee unless there is something crazy that happens with his health or with his cases in which he were to, even if he were to be jailed before the election, it still is not guaranteed that he would lose the election. So he's almost certainly going to be the Republican nominee. So if you're someone who doesn't want him to be president again, why are you going to run if you have any chance of taking votes away from the only person who can beat Donald Trump? Joe Biden is, at this point, the only person who can beat Donald Trump. That's it. And if you're running, then and you're someone who is in agreement with Joe Biden on 80% of his policies, at least 99% of his policies, then you're running because he's old? Is that the only reason? Or that may not be your only stated reason, but it just, now he's not going to be able to run on the Green Party ticket because he's on the outs with them, and he won't be that's significant is because he won't be able to get on the ballot in all 50 states in all likelihood. So he's not going to be able to take as many votes away from Joe Biden. So it's a very significant development. Andy, what's on your mind?
I was just thinking that could it also be maybe a ploy for him to advocate for himself to be his running mate, Biden's running mate. You know what I'm saying? Like, run just a little bit and just understand that, you know what? I know that I have no fight in the Biden fight. Biden wins, but I'm also putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm showing you my political muscle. Maybe, I'll be his running mate.
Well, he can't be the running mate because that's already Kamala Harris. Biden is still going to have Vice President Harris as the running mate. That's not going to change. But maybe, Andy, to your point, maybe he wants a cabinet position. Maybe he wants to have a position in President Biden's cabinet. That's possible, and you never know. But I just think if he goes through with this campaign, and at this point, that campaign is in peril, I'll say, because if you're not going to be able to run from the Green Party ticket, which has a lot of access, obviously it's a third party, and it's nowhere near the access of a Republican or Democratic Party, nowhere near the access or the funding, but they still have at least access to the ballot, and you're going to get your name out there. Now you got to get petitions signed to get on the ballot. But Danny, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, we got to look at who's running. We can't just look at Cornel West like he's just a regular individual. He's going to break up the parties, and he needs the help. And I mean, we're talking about one of the most brilliant minds in the world.
Right. That's why it's upsetting.
But it's another game to this, because you got to understand it's going to be very difficult to get his name on the ballot, and he knows that. He knew that coming in.
Well,
but we don't know his end game, because he's already one up on us, and I would consider myself, a little knowledgeable as well to know Dr. West is a little, he's got something else up his sleeves. He knows how challenging it's going to be to get on the ballot, right? It's just very hard, especially in independent. So what's going on is we don't know his end game, but he got something up his sleeve that's going to benefit him from just running in general. Because just because you run don't mean you have to you can drop out at any point and go do something else, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, everybody does everything for a reason, right? Like our governor's probably going to end up running for president.
Well, he will run in 2028.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
I promise you, Gavin Newsom runs.
So we have a different. We don't know his motives, but at the same time, we're all going to band together if people see former President Donald Trump coming close. I'm sure you're going to see a lot of people.
He's close now.
He is, and people don't believe how close he is.
He's polling ahead of Joe Biden in a lot of polls. Ahead. Not just tied, but ahead. So it's a very serious situation. Yeah. And as you said, we don't know what Cornel West's motivations have been in this race, and that's been my question the whole time. What is he trying to do?
I think you're really saying that, Avi, too, because he has a certain cachet.
Absolutely.
And that he has influence. So you're like, what's going on?
Right.
A la Bernie Sanders. But hold on now. I'm just telling you, he's got something else up his sleeve. This man is brilliant. Something else going on, and we yet to know yet. I'm telling you.
Well, he's brilliant, but right now it seems like a self-aggrandizement campaign. That's what it seems like right now.
Something going on, yeah.
But when we come forward, we are going to do our usual Friday segment, What in the White Privilege, and we're going to wrap up this first hour with a couple more topics right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's the real deal in real time. You're listening to Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hello?
Man, where are you? I thought you were coming.
I can't. I'm in bed with the flu.
The flu? Whoa. Grandma's about to crowd surf. Man, I'll call you back.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is safe, effective, and you can get it at the same time as your COVID-19 vaccine. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When is the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Hey, son. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
No young person should ever have to worry about having a safe place to sleep at night, or whether anyone cares about them.
But the reality is, 1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis and giving them the support and tools they need to succeed in life. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today. Thank you for caring.
Only 1 in 5 people with autism are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work.
Maybe it's because employers don't know what kind of jobs they can do. Like, what about a programmer?
That's a job for someone with autism.
How about a healthcare worker?
Yep, that is too. People with autism can do a lot of different jobs, but often get overlooked due to outdated stigmas. Introducing WIN by Autism Speaks. We help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
What about a ranch hand?
To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win.
The way we spend our time defines who we are. You're listening to Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
And it is the Friday edition on a Thursday of Areva Martin in real time. Avi Bernard with you, and I am in for Areva Martin today. It's a great day to talk about some white privilege like usual. On Fridays, we usually have a segment called What in the White Privilege? So, Andy, who's at the door?
It's white!
So, this is a person named Mike Lindell. You may have seen him for years now. He has a very famous brand of pillows called My Pillow. He is a very well-known infomercial person who turned into a really, really crazy Donald Trump supporter. I mean, crazy. So you know that Fox News is the main right-wing propaganda outlet, but there are others. There's Newsmax and OAN as well. And this dude, Mike Lindell, has been tied up in litigation because he keeps claiming that the election was fraudulent and there's no proof. And he keeps saying, I got the proof. I'm going to show you the proof. He doesn't show us the proof. So this is a clip of, are we ready for it, Andy? This is a clip of Mike Lindell on a very Republican-friendly station, as I just mentioned, called Newsmax. Let's take a listen.
First, mine was taken down because we have all the election fraud with these Dominion machines. We have 100% proof. And then when they took it down about 3 weeks ago, and then I'm going to put it back up, my personal, it was a
Mike, thank you very much. Mike, you're talking about machines that we at Newsmax have not been able to verify any of those kinds of allegations. We just want to let people know that there's nothing substantive that we've seen. And let me read you something there. While there were some clear evidence of some cases of vote fraud and election irregularities, the election results in every state were certified, and Newsmax accepts the results as legal and final. The courts have also supported that view. So we wanted to talk to you about canceling culture, if you will. We don't want to relitigate the allegations that you're making, Mike, because we understand where you are.
So this is Newsmax, and they have to cut him off because Newsmax saw that Fox News had to pay almost $800 million because they got their ass sued for lying about those voting machines. And Newsmax was like, okay, so we're not trying to go down that path. We're not going to say that the voting machines were rigged. We're not going to let anybody come on here and say that the voting machines were rigged because we don't want that smoke. We don't want to get sued back to the Stone Age like Fox News did. And so he's on there trying to peddle his election fraud claims that he has zero evidence for, saying we got the evidence. If you got the evidence, where is it? That election was 3 years ago. Where's the evidence? He keeps saying he's going to bring it. He never brings it. So he goes on Newsmax and he gets shut down. And the funniest part about that is they're like, Mike, wait. He's like, I'm trying to, dude, just shut up. Shut up. And the reason he's even allowed to do this is because of course, white privilege. And he is a rich dude who has time on his hands. And now he's apparently not as rich as we may have thought, because his lawyers have quit, and they quit because he has not paid them millions of dollars in legal bills. So Mike Lindell, you stay loud. You just keep on doing what you're doing right on into bankruptcy. Go ahead, brother. That is why you are the focus of this week's What in the White Privilege.
It's white.
Before we run out of time in this hour, I want to talk about Roy Wood Jr. He is leaving The Daily Show. He has been a candidate for getting that job. You know, it was Jon Stewart's show, and it was then taken over by Trevor Noah, and now Roy Wood Jr. is he was under consideration for that job, but apparently they told him he wasn't going to get it because they just wanted him to keep on being a correspondent. He's like, I've been being a correspondent for 8 years. I'm good. If I'm not going to get the main job, I'm just going to leave. So I love Roy Wood Jr. I think he would have been a great host. So I just think it's sad because I think that's a great show. The Daily Show is great. I love Trevor Noah. I love Jon Stewart before that. He's someone who helped me get into politics just because of his humorous way of talking about it and explaining it. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Roy Wood Jr. for all the work he's done and hopefully will continue to do. What are your thoughts, Danny?
Hey, I'm quoting him, Roy Wood Jr. By the way, you can't work on your plan B while you're still in plan A. So obviously he got something up his sleeve too, and is probably going to be really big. And a lot of time you get labeled, you get typecast. Oh, that's just the writer, that's the ghostwriter, or that's just this guy.
He's just the correspondent.
Man, you don't know what people doing. You don't know what we doing. He's a Renaissance man. He could be doing all kind of stuff. And I'm sure he's gonna bounce back. And the time is now. Trevor Noah's gone. He was under that regime, under that family, right? So obviously, if you don't get the job, why hang around? It's different.
Well, he's been around there for 8 years. I think that goes back. That might go back to Jon Stewart era.
I think because Noah was there 7 years. He was there 7 years. So this is
exactly
8. Yeah. So he's two different predecessors. You got to go, man. If they don't give it to you, they're not gonna give it to you. So just bounce. And I'm sure he got something else up his sleeve.
Yeah, and he gave the speech at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He was brilliant.
Oh, that was good.
And I just think that they should have maybe considered him for the job. If they didn't, that he should have got that job.
Well, that probably opened the door for other things because a lot of people never have really, because I never really messed with him. But when I saw that on YouTube, the roast that he did, I said, this dude is a genius. This dude is funny.
He came out with that one. So when we come forward, we're going to get into this conversation about the Damian Lillard trade and Drew Holiday trades, and then also a Dodgers preview. What those trades mean for the Lakers, of course, and a Dodgers playoff preview. Their first playoff game is Saturday. When we come forward right after this news, traffic, and sports update on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Doug Davis with the latest from the Black Information Network. In Los Angeles, police are investigating a shooting outside of a high school in North Hills as a possible hate crime. Detectives believe Monday's shooting outside of Albert Einstein High School may have been racially motivated. A man allegedly used racial slurs before shooting a 16-year-old student who was getting into